Hey everybody, what's up? It's NihonTiger. Welcome back to the Hypermine server. Yes, it's alive. I didn't forget about it. I just had WMC stuff to get out and some real life stuff to deal with, and hope this helps. Oh, that's soap stuff. So we haven't finished much yet, and I'm a little hesitant at the moment to do much here because I'm going to probably tear out all of this and build my entranceway very soon. So that's going to require a lot of material, and I need to actually probably do some off camera mining for that. It will look very cool. Like, I've got an idea for how to make this work. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit scared about breaking contract stuff up here to do it. So I'm going to have to be careful with how I have that set up. But nonetheless, we're here, we're ready to go. You can see that I filled in almost all of the pattern stuff, and it just requires a whole bunch of stained clay and a little bit more of the good stuff. Craftwood. Shut up! I hate this thing. Every time I switch between versions, it's like craftwood and planks. The recipe book can help. Shut up, game. Is there a way for me to turn, where's it at? No. I need to figure out how to turn the stupid things off. Look, that crap wooden planks for you? Okay, look. Shut up. Okay, you went away. Thank you. So, we're gonna go on back through the portal. I got plans for that. We're gonna work on it later. I haven't had any time to gather materials lately. Everything's kind of been hit or miss with my life. I've had some illness stuff I've been trying to deal with as well. So unfortunately, it's kind of kept me off my feet. I seem to be making my way through it, so that's good. Just to give you an update on life and all of its things there. Current status is mostly healthy with a few small health issues here and there. But I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay in the long run. So that is what's most important. There's a skeleton. Ow. I got shot in the face. Thank you, skeleton. So I thought... I really didn't have a thought what we were going to do today. I guess probably what I should do is, besides the quartz and stuff, because mining that is like I should go back. I forget about the bed. I should go back and sleep in the bed. But mining all the quartz and whatnot out is a fairly thankless and boring thing to do, so I'm not really, to be honest, inclined to do it. I'm not really interested in doing that for a video today. So I won't. And zombies are there to eat my face off. I almost feel like maybe I want to go out and explore a little bit and see if I can find some clay deposits. Make it daytime. Clear up the rain. That might be a good idea. Because we need a lot more clay. We're going to need a ton of clay. Not just for the floor. We're going to need a ton of clay. I've only got 20 in there. And not enough there. We need a lot of clay and a butt ton of orange dye. So that might be, it's probably a good idea actually. It's a good idea. I got some quartz on there anyways. But it's a good idea. It'll give us an opportunity to kind of chit chat a little bit about some things, perhaps, that have been going on lately. In general. And I'm sure I can tell you, those of you that follow me on Twitter have been probably kept apprised that not everything is going great. But we're going to make it through. We're going to make it through. So don't you worry about a thing. There we go. Got some shovels. We're going to put another rack in, right? Yes. Okay. But, yeah, we can do that. We can go on adventure for dye and clay and all the good things, because we're gonna need a whole bunch of it for the next step. Why not do it today? Why not do it while we're thinking? There's some right over here, but we'll get that later. So, what can we discuss? What can I discuss that I have actual things to mention? Because like things off the top of my head, like I could talk about, my health. I could talk about my job, but I'm always worried about that because I don't want to seem like I'm whining the whole time. I know a lot of people have it way less lucky than I do. I have friends who are jobless right now looking for work, and here I am sitting here complaining about how much I hate my job and how I feel completely like I'm fighting against the world in what I do. Well, I guess, you know what? That would actually be a good thing to talk about, because I'm not sure a lot of people know. I'm not sure a lot of people pay attention to what I do, and I'm not sure a lot of people know kind of the rough and tumble of the kind of work that people in my profession do in a day in, day out kind of thing. That might be kind of cool. There's some play right here. That's kind of cool. Maybe I could talk about it and give y'all little bits of insight into how the day-to-day life is for the average journalist. And by the way, I should mention I work at a newspaper. I'll not say where, but I work at a newspaper. I've worked at a newspaper for several years now. My original college degree is a bachelor's degree in journalism. Why not? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about. I'm not normally too open about my job because I don't want people to come find me. It's really easy to find me. It's a lot of reasons why I keep some things to myself. But I work at a newspaper, and I originally, a long time ago when I was little, I wanted to go into geography. I had a very strong interest in geography, and I still do. I still have a very strong interest in geography and other cultures. And like anytime I get to meet a person from another country, it's almost immediately. It's just tell me about life. Tell me about life in your country. And inform me. You have holiday today? Ooh, tell me about the holiday. What's it all about? I'm very curious. I know some people probably think I'm weird because of that, but it's a genuine interest. So if I ever am talking to you and you're from, Spain or something, let's say, for example, we'll just pick Spain because Spain's been in the news lately with all the stuff going on in Catalonia. But let's talk about Spain. Let's say you're Spanish and I meet you and it's like, oh, hello, how are you? Blah 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 blah. Oh, can you tell me about your country? Oh, what's it like? What's this holiday about? What kind of things? What kind of days do you guys get off? What holidays do you celebrate? What kind of customs do you have? Tell me about this. Ooh, tell me about that. And I just I get sucked into it so easily, and it's something I enjoy. And I think maybe it's part of the reason I fell into journalism, other than my love of writing. I've always enjoyed writing and being a creative type person, and that's a big part of the reason that I do the Let's Play videos, is because of the fact that it allows me to have a creative outlet. So that's why you see a lot of storytelling. I've mentioned before I'm a fan of Zisto, and I enjoy his storytelling style because he tells these complex narratives, and they're entertaining and enthralling, and you never quite know what direction to go. You're going to go next, and there's a little bit of like a randomness to it, and I love that. I love keeping people on their toes. But that's kind of why I went into journalism, because I came upon this thing. I'd always been interested in geography and the news, and I found out one day that you could get paid to do that for a living, and that sit really well with me. That was an idea that I thought went well. I was always told that I was a very, very strong writer. Despite the fact that my lowest score, what was that? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my lowest score on the when I took the ACT, there's like 4 different categories, and I'm pretty sure my lowest score was in the English. Of the 4, I know I got it's out of 36 points, and I know I aced the social studies part of it. I got a perfect score on that, so that was never a question that I was very talented and skilled in the geographies and the social studies, but I kind of as much as I liked it, I kind of never really thought, that it was the thing I was interested in, but I never really thought that maybe I wanted it to be a thing that I did full time as like a full time job. And the journalism thing really stuck out to me because like I said, it's writing, it's learning, it's telling stories, and it's being able to, a good journalist is able to kind of bring truth to power. They're able to tell stories about people who would not normally be able to tell those stories about, people who might be oppressed or might be seen as not being significant enough in the eyes of some normally. But journalism, when done properly, is a very powerful tool, and it can also be a very powerful tool for the wrong reasons. But before I go off on that, and that if we start talking about that, this is going to be a 2-hour video, and we're not looking for a 2-hour video. That's another story for another time. Maybe once I leave the industry, and hopefully that will be soon, we can have a discussion about why I've made that choice. And oh boy, it will be just all cannons go on that one. But I digress, because that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about journalism. We're here to talk about my job in particular, and what I like about it, what I don't like about it, the bad and the good things. So yeah, like I said, I've worked as a journalist now, actually on the reporting side of things for a couple of years. Most of the stuff I do is digital based. It's social media, it's web content, videography, photography, breaking news reporting, stuff like that. So that's kind of my wheelhouse, and it's not bad. A lot of the breaking news stuff is fairly easy to do, I guess you could say. It doesn't take a whole lot to do that. And also, to be honest with you, I kind of got shoehorned into doing that because it used to be someone would have to do it every day in the newsroom, and then one of the reporters basically was like way too lazy to actually do their job and said, "Oh well, Nihon can do it," except to use my real name because nobody knows I'm Nihon at work. If you do, hi, yeah, this is my secret life. But I kind of got pigeonholed into doing it because they basically said, "Oh, you can do it because you're always here anyways." And to be 100% honest with you, they were right. It actually has not been that much of a pain in the ass for me to do it, so I don't mind it. But I also I gotta figure out how I want to say this. Let's start off with the things I like. I mentioned I like doing stories. I like doing videos. I like telling stories that are interesting, that are important for the community. I think it's an important public service when done right, and I try to do it right every day. I try to be as honest and fair as I can be. Obviously, sometimes there's stories where a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you always have to be fair and balanced and both sides," but sometimes there's just not both sides in a story. Sometimes there's multiple sides. Sometimes there's like 10 sides to a story. Oh God, hi. And sometimes there's only sometimes there actually only is one side because the other side doesn't want to talk. So you only get one side of a story. It's a shame when that happens, but it is what it is. You try to do your best job. You try to be fair. You try to approach everything with an open mind. I think is a good way to put it. You don't want to go in with a preconceived notion before you get to before you get to actually talking to a I just want to put blocks back. That's all I want to do. Y'all being scary. It's not Halloween anymore. Stop it. But it's a good thing when done right, and it's awful to see it when people do it wrong, or when people, especially nowadays with online, with people being all clickbaity. It's really bad to see people kind of go the clickbaity route, and the TV stations do that a lot around here, where it's like you won't like this, tune in at 11 to find out what products in your house might kill you. It's like, why would you want to wait till 11? Wouldn't you want to know right now if there's something in your house that would kill you? Would that not be of great importance to you right now? Because if there is something in your house that might kill you, and you may use it between now and 11, you may not make it to the 11 o'clock news. Whoops. But ratings and clicks and all that stuff, man. I said I wouldn't. I said I wouldn't go off on my diatribe yet. So I gotta hold off on that. That's for another video. But yeah, it's a great thing when done properly, and I enjoy knowing that I go to work, that I know ahead of time what the news of the day is going to be. What's happening. I know then and there. I don't have to wait for the 6 o'clock news or like the next day's newspaper to find out. And with the way that the web is going, it's kind of becoming more and more of a thing. But where everybody knows all the time what's going on. Thanks, social media. But the reason I am like considering leaving the profession, obviously, one of them has to do with pay. Journalism pay is by and large horrendous. I will not reveal financials, but let's just say that I would not be surprised if a significant percentage, I would say not the majority, but a significant minority of journalists are not on welfare or food stamps or something like that, or living paycheck to paycheck, barely able to make rent. I know for a fact that has been an issue for not necessarily maybe people at where I work, but at other places. It's very tough right now in the industry, and there's just been lots and lots of opportunities to find a job working as a journalist going away, and a lot of people are kind of trying to go off and do other things, and I'm now having to figure out, where I can take my skills to escape that. Not to mention that it is, and this is probably the part that kind of sucks the most outside of the financials, it's inherently a thankless job, and no matter what you do, to be blunt about this, no matter what you do, everybody thinks you're an asshole. Everybody hates you. You can never do anything right. Every story is biased. Everything is wrong. Especially with I don't want to go too much into the politics side of things, but especially with the current mindset from some people who have very large voices. The mindset is that it's like you're a villain. You're a bad person. You do not deserve to be anything other than living in a box eating ramen out of the package kind of deal, because you're bad. And it wears on you. It breaks people. There is abuse from people even within our own community. There's people who are very abusive toward us, and who are very very harsh, like overly so in some cases. I mean, I can understand if you're upset about a story or something like that, but there's people that will just go off on you for no reason, just because of who you are and what you do. And that alone is rough. Not to mention the can I make? Here we go, 2 stacks. Not to mention the other issue at hand, which is actually going out and covering the news. A lot of times you're covering some really awful stuff. There's just some, it goes with the nature of being in the business, is you end up covering some things that are really terrible. Car crashes, I've been to car crashes where people have died, and I've seen fires where maybe not necessarily I've been there, but we just had a fire the other day. Entire family passed away in the fire because the fire department, the fire was just too bad, and the fire department couldn't get there in time to put it out and save them. And so, whole family of 5 people, just gone like that. And things like didn't happen here, but things that happen like Las Vegas, New York, and Orlando, Charlottesville, all these places where all these terrible stories happen. And that's just in the U.S. Not to mention the things that are going on around the world, the conflicts that are happening in far off countries, where people are being hurt and killed every day. And there are journalists out there, some who live in those countries, and some who are like international correspondents for major newspapers or major wire services or networks, who are every day going out into that field and having to deal with that. And it's like, maybe not so much. Maybe I'm not out covering, the wars going on in the Middle East or whatever. But there's enough stuff that happens just in the day-to-day life around here, shootings and robberies and whatnot, that it messes you up. It messes you up a lot. Journalists get PTSD from things. It's not something where it might be, a thing that you notice right away, but I've been to some things, and I'm kind of at this point where it's like, okay, how do I brace myself for the fact that I'm going to deal with something? And one of my great fears is that a bad thing would happen. There'd be a big shooting at a school or downtown or something like that, and I'm one of along with the first responders that go out and actually respond to the scene. When you're a journalist, you are one of those people that runs toward, they run toward disaster, just like police and fire and EMS. The stuff that was going on in Houston with Hurricane Harvey. There were journalists down there on pontoon boats, helping pull people out of the floodwaters. Like, that kind of stuff, that's stuff that wins you awards, but that's stuff that screws with you. It messes up your mind. There's probably for some journalists, especially people with like New Orleans after Katrina and stuff like that, and had to deal with the devastation down there. There's probably journalists that have had to go seek out therapy for that. It's not an easy job. It wears on you. It's a taxing job. There's a lot of, for all the good things that happen in the world, there's a lot of really bad things that happen too. And when you're a journalist, you always gotta know that that's something that any day there could be, a fire somewhere, or like a plant, and I'm gonna go cover that, and or like a fire, like a natural gas, like an oil place or a natural gas place. I'm there covering it. What happens if it blows up? What happens if, am I too close? Am I, far away? What am I going to have to deal with on a day in, day out basis? And it can be really kind of just something that you spend a lot of time thinking about, beforehand, or if you've experienced it, after it. And I think it burns out a lot of people. I think a lot of people get just burnt out by the wear and tear of it all, and they decide, I love doing this, but I don't love doing this enough that I'm gonna keep putting myself through this every day. And I can't blame them. I cannot blame anyone for feeling that way, because I honestly am kind of getting to the point where, in general, I'm starting to feel that way myself. And I'm not sure, between the financials and the stresses of doing this every day, 24/7, 365, in the modern world, I'm not entirely sure that I'm not going to get burnt out by it and end up worse. And I think maybe that's something too that's been weighing on me right now, is I've been thinking a lot about that, and I've been thinking a lot about my future. What's the next 10 years of my life going to be like? What's the next 20 years of my life going to be like? And I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if, tomorrow I'm gonna go into work and just something is gonna happen. I'm gonna be like, nope, I can't do this anymore. I can't put myself through this. I'm out. It's kind of one of those things you got to think about. And my guess would be, a lot of police officers and stuff go through that too. A lot of first responders, and maybe after a while, for some people, it kind of get numb to it. And I'm just trying to figure out how many more I need. A lot more. Maybe you get numb to it, and it just becomes routine for you. But for me, it's not that easy, I guess. I know some people might say, well, that just means you're not cut out for it. And if that's the case, well, you know what? So be it. If I'm not cut out for it, I'm not cut out for it. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I don't know. It's just, it's just something I've been thinking a lot about lately. I guess maybe for the first time, I'm really considering really hard leaving my job and trying to take my skills and find something else that I can do with that. And I guess maybe too, one of the things is I'm scared I can't. I'm scared that all the jobs are going to be gone, and they're not going to want someone like me who's got 10 years experience doing all this great stuff, and I'm gonna wake up one day and the world's gonna pass me by and say, nope, sorry, what skills you got are not what we in the business world want. So sorry, but we can't give you a job, and you have no skills. Go flip burgers at McDonald's. So I guess that's kind of what I've been thinking about lately. Trying to think about the things I enjoy about my job and the things I don't like. And I think maybe the scales have been kind of tipping toward toward the negative side, and maybe they're starting to tip a little bit more and a little bit faster toward more negative instead of more positive, and I don't really know what to do about that. I have mentioned in private to people that I do feel somewhat lost at this point, just with what I want to do. It's not like a midlife crisis kind of thing. God knows. I hope it's not a midlife crisis. I'm not ready for it to be midlife. I'm way too young for this to be a midlife thing. At least wait about 20 or 30 more years. Then I can have my midlife crisis. Okay, when I'm 60. But you know, it's a lot to think about, especially with everything that's been going on over the past year or two. And I don't think I have an answer. I don't know if I'll have any answers anytime soon, which is frustrating for me because I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty in my life with a lot of things right now, and I know that has always frustrated me, not having that feeling of control in my life sometimes. But I know I'm going to get through it, and I know that I will certainly let everyone know what's going to happen with that. You guys definitely know, I'll tell you. But yeah, journalism, it is highly rewarding. It is highly stressful and highly caustic toward life, especially because I used to work evenings, so I didn't even interact with the real world for a very long time. And you know, maybe the sun is setting on all of this part of my life, and it's rising. The sun is rising on new things in the future. We'll see. But thank you guys for being here. We got a little bit done today. I thought I had more than enough clay to get this whole thing done, but no. I certainly need a lot more, and I'm gonna have to go out and hunt some more down. And in the meanwhile, I will start to plan out the next phase. The next phase is going to be building the tunnel entrance. Yes, that is going to be the next part of it. For the nether tunnel, I have to plan that out, which means I need to take some measurements, which means I need to do all kinds of stuff tomorrow and this weekend while balancing out like several other things, so it's going to be chaos. But thank you for watching, guys. As always, good luck in mining, have fun. I'll see you soon. More Hypermine adventures coming at you. Take care. Peace out. Take care of yourselves. I love y'all.